to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Heinz Field as the unbeaten Iowa Hawkeyes are getting ready to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers for the first time in 56 years. Iowa, the only team in the football bowl subdivision that has not given up a touchdown all season. And we welcome you on this beautiful day in Pittsburgh, Pam Ward, along with Ray Bentley. And even though Iowa is unbeaten, there is still a bit of controversy there as to which starting quarterback would go today.
Right, either Ricky Stanzi or Jake Christensen, and I call it a competition as opposed to a controversy. And because they're on the road in a tough game here, they're going to go with the more experienced player in Jake Christensen today. He's a better runner. I think he makes better checks in the running game. His problem is he's got one pitch, the fastball. Doesn't have enough touch on his throws. That's where Ricky Stanzi comes in. He's got better instincts, I think, in my mind, but he needs a little more salt and pepper, some seasoning. And on the other side, Pitt is led by LeSean McCoy. They call him Shady, and Shady is back after a record-setting freshman year. The kid's got incredible instincts. He's a cutback style runner, but he also has the power. And he's a Sunday guy, and I think you'll see him go that way sooner rather than later. And we expect him to get about 30 touches here this afternoon.
Shady is only a sophomore, ran for over 1,300 yards last year as a true freshman. For this guy, Dave Wanstead, who played football here, has come back to be its head coach. But things have not gone as smoothly as Pitt fans would have hoped. They have yet to go to a bowl game, and there were high expectations this year after the upset win against West Virginia last season. Kirk Ferentz, also a Pittsburgh native, like Dave Wanstead, coming off a non-bowl season for his Hawkeyes, but they are off to a good 3-0 start, beating Maine, Florida International, and Iowa State. This is only the fourth time these two schools have ever met. Pittsburgh leads it 2-1, and they have not met since way back in 1952.
Been a while.
Iowa lost to Pittsburgh in that game 26-14, but none of these students were even a glitter in their parents' eyes back then in 1952. Iowa won the toss here, and they have elected to receive. Luke Briggs is the kickoff guy for the Panthers, who come out in their all-blue uniforms.
Yeah, this Iowa team, they look like the Pittsburgh Steelers with their uniforms.
Yes, so they look right at home in Pittsburgh, but they are the enemy today. Hampton and Johnson Koulianos are back, and that is Johnson Koulianos. Darrell gets it just inside his 10 and slips down short of the 20-yard line, and that is where Iowa will start after a 10-yard return. So Jake Christensen is indeed back as a starter. He started against Maine and then did not start the last two ball games, but came off the bench last week to lead them to their only offensive touchdown against Iowa State.
He really came in and settled the offense down, and I think that's what Kirk Ferentz is looking for here. First game on the road. Iowa has struggled on the road the last several years, so they're hoping that Jake can keep things calm in that offensive huddle.
Sean Green is Iowa's running back star. He has 100-yard games in all three contests this year, and he's off to a great start as he picks up about 10 yards before Aaron Berry made the stop. Impact players for Iowa. This is the guy who is not starting, Ricky Stanzi, but we do expect to see him sometime during the game today. Brandon Myers, both of these squads like to go to their tight ends. In fact, he is second in Iowa in catches this year. And there is Sean Green.
And he is a beast. He's a pile mover. 100 yards a game in each of the 3 games that they played, and he gets a lot of yards after contact.
And he's off to a great start, 10 yards and a first down on his first carry. Here's the second one, and he is knocked down about 4 yards down from the line of scrimmage by Giovanni Chappell, or Chappelle, excuse me, who lost his helmet on the tackle.
And Chappelle came up, made a nice hit, but you saw how low he went on Sean Green, because Green's a beast. He's 5'11", 235 pounds. They list him at. That might be a little bit light. I know he came to camp at around 250 this year, and he's worked to get himself in shape. But usually it takes more than one guy to get him down.
Green is a junior from New Jersey. Did not play with Iowa last year. Went to junior college to get his academics in order. After playing his first couple of seasons in Iowa City, they go right back to him. And that really is Iowa football behind the big guys in front as he picked up 3 yards. Rashad Duncan on the stop.
Yeah, you mentioned Green having the academic issues, Pam. He actually had to grow up a little bit. He's 23 years old, but he was working at a furniture store and going to a community college there in Iowa City and paying all his own bills and all those things that you expect adults to do. And I think it really has helped his perspective. And he said he never a doubt he was going to come back because he just loves football so much.
And Iowa loves to have him back. Iowa 39% converting third downs this season. Here they are facing a 3rd and 4. And here comes Christensen's first throw. He has a man out there and just past the outstretched fingertips of Darrell Johnson-Koulianis. Giovanni Chappell was step for step with him.
Just a little bit overthrown, and that's been the problem with Jake Christensen, in my opinion. Throwing the deep ball or any ball that you have to have touch on. If he needs to wing it out to the outside or things like that, he can throw the fastball. It's the deep ball and the touch passes that he struggled with.
Johnson-Koulianis did have a step on the defender Chappell as Ryan Donahue is in for his first punt. Aaron Berry drops it. Berry had it go right through his hands, but fortunately for the Panthers, Berry was able to jump on it. And Pitt will start from around the 15. That would have been almost just disastrous for them.
And Bradley Fletcher was the man who was the gunner who got down there in Berry's face, and he almost came up with a great football play. And Berry is fortunate that that thing bounced to an area where he could get back on it.
That was a 44-yard punt, and they lost 4 on that muff. So here is Pittsburgh's first series. They had a bye week last week, beat Buffalo the week before that, and here is LeSean McCoy, and he loses control. And Iowa gets the football. So one play for Dave Wanstead's offense, and one of Iowa's stars, Matt Kroll, came up with the loose ball.
Yeah, and Tyler Sash, who's getting the start at strong safety this week, he came over there, and he's the one who knocked this thing out with just a nice tackle. Watch him come up and get his hands and arms, wrap the ball up, and as he wrapped up, he knocked it out of McCoy's hands. That's the second fumble on the season for LeSean McCoy, who usually takes pretty good care of the football. He had it out there just swinging around in the breeze, and that made it easy for Sash to come and knock it away.
Boy, and Sash is coming off a terrific game last week in which he had a career-high 12 tackles. Also had an interception and a sack. Green gets it for Iowa and finds some daylight on the left side of that offensive line. Picked up 5 yards. Elijah Fields coming in to make the stop for the Panthers.
This is exactly what the Pitt Panthers did not need to start this ball game. A turnover. That was the problem for them when they lost the opener against Bowling Green. They turned it over 4 times in that game. And that's just not winning football. That's tough when your #1 star player, LeSean McCoy, gives up the ball on his first carry.
They lost to Bowling Green after blowing a 14-point lead in that ball game. And that was right here. Green again over the left side, puts his head down, and there you see the power of Green. Chappell makes the stop as he's marked short of the first down. But boy, Green is a tough one to tackle.
Yeah, we talked to Kirk Ferentz about him, and he said he kind of reminds me of Liddell Betts. Not only is he physical, he's also hungry, having spent last year sitting on the sidelines. He picks this whole team up and makes them tougher, according to Coach Ferentz, and you can see why on this type of run. Watch this, bam, right there. He just blew up Giovanni Chappell. That's a mismatch, a corner weighing 180 going against the 230-pound Sean Green.
Boy, that's the second time Chappell has lost his helmet out on the field. And
compliments of Green both times.
Absolutely. And so a good mark here for Iowa gives them the first down. So 1st and goal for the Hawkeyes at the 9 after the turnover. And the very first offensive play, LeSean McCoy, right there, lost the ball. And he is, boy, hoping against hope that somehow his defense can return the favor.
Yeah, LeSean McCoy is shaking his head like he can't believe it.
Green takes a stutter step, cuts left, and then is cut down for little to no gain. Giovanni Chappelle again in there, along with Austin Ransom, who is a linebacker wearing number 86 for Pittsburgh.
And Mick Williams, who the Panthers get back this week, number 95. He's the one who had the initial penetration, and that forced Green to run sideways. And that's what you want to do against a locomotive like that. Get him off the tracks, make him go sideways, then people can tackle him.
Now 2nd and goal for Iowa, their 2nd possession of the football game. 3 receivers in. Christensen looking for Johnson Koulianos, and the ball was deflected, and then Elijah Fields made sure that Johnson Koulianos would not catch it with that hit.
And this was a dangerous throw here from Christensen, trying to slam the slant route in. And there's a little bit of a gap in there. He didn't quite throw it out far enough, and then Chappelle was able to knock it away as Elijah Fields was playing over the top in a double team.
So now 3rd and goal for this Iowa offense. Christensen with pressure up the middle. It's dropped. Andy Brodell had it knocked away by Aaron Berry, actually. So a great defensive play by Berry because Brodell was there.
And I believe that Aaron Berry knew what was coming, because Brodell's going to run just an under route, a China route, and you see Berry anticipating it, undercut the route, and was able to knock that ball away. And that's where having a little more touch and a little more patience would have really helped Jake Christensen. He tried to slam it in there, and it was a little bit behind Brodell. That allowed Berry to make the play.
Iowa has been using 2 kickers this year. Here's the freshman Trent Mossbrucker from 26 yards out, and the turnover results in 3 points for Iowa.
And it all started back with that fumble. The first carry by LeSean McCoy puts it on the ground. The big play from Sash ends up giving Iowa 3 points.
We are in Pittsburgh, where Iowa has taken a 3-0 lead over the Panthers. That is a view from the Cathedral of Learning located on the Pitt campus. 535 feet tall, that's 42 stories, and you get a great view of Pittsburgh, which is Kirk Ferentz's hometown. The Hawkeyes, with that 3 points, have now outscored their opponents 41-0 in the first quarter of the season. But this is an Iowa team that has given up only 8 points all year in 3 games, and the only team in the Football Bowl subdivision that has yet to give up a touchdown.
They play great defense, and we saw that with that first series where they forced a turnover.
Daniel Murray with the kickoff. Rod Stevens-Howling, who is a good running back for Pitt, gets it and gets a big hole, and then is grabbed by the leg down just past the 25-yard line. A swing pass from Stahl completes it to LeSean McCoy out of the backfield. Tyler Sash makes the stop, but that's 5 yards for McCoy.
And just another way to get the ball into the hands of LeSean McCoy out on the edge, as you see his numbers from last season. And they just find different ways to get the ball in his hands as opposed to just handing it off every time. And he is very good as a receiver as well as a runner.
Went over 1,300 yards on the ground last year. Pitt's first 1,000-yard rusher in 7 seasons. 2nd and 5, will play action. And Stahl goes up top, has his man Derek Kinder, and Kinder has a first down in Iowa territory. A 20-yard pickup for the Panthers.
Great patience by the quarterback in this one. You're going to see the tight end over here. He's going to be part of the route, running both the tight end and the receiver. Kinder run up the field together, and then the tight end breaks out, and Kinder breaks in, and there's that little seam in between the zone coverage, and Stahl was on time delivering it.
Kinder did not play at all last year after hurting his knee in camp. More play action. Stahl rolling to the right, going right down the middle on the post, floats it up, and it is knocked away by Bradley Fletcher. He was going right back to Kinder, but that ball seemed to be in the air for a long time.
Yeah, a little late on this throw, I believe, from quarterback Bill Stahl. But Kinder, he's a guy you want to give a chance just throw it up there and let him get it. And you see the route. Fletcher, outstanding coverage, had the outside leverage, but he stayed with it and then had his eye on the football and timed the jump perfectly to knock it away.
Boy, that was an outstanding play by Fletcher, a senior from Youngstown, Ohio. He was an all-state basketball player. That looked like he was going up to block a shot. 2nd and 10, 4 receivers in for Pitt, but they go back to McCoy. And McCoy barrels close to the 40-yard line, picked up 9 on that 2nd down play. Jeremiah Hunter, who knows McCoy very well, they played against each other in York, Pennsylvania, made the stop.
39-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down.
So McCoy gets him close, a 3rd and 1 coming up. And he and McCoy and Hunter rather actually talked on the phone earlier this week about playing in this big game against each other. It's
always fun to go against somebody you know, Pam. It just adds a little bit of spice to the mix.
A couple of tight ends in right now for Pitt. Oh, they run into each other. Stahl and Collins, the fullback, collide, and Collins lost a yard.
And that's hard to say who you blame on that one. It looks to me like the quarterback makes the mistake here as he doesn't really get out of the way. It looked like he was a little confused, and they tried to figure out a way to get Collins more involved. And Pitt at the +40 are going to go for this here on this 4th down.
Do you like that at 4th and 2?
Yeah, I do like it. I would go anytime you're inside the opponent's territory, 4th and less than 2, I would go for it. I'm a gambler type, though.
2 tight ends in again. Play action. They're throwing for it, and they get it. Collins, the fullback who just ran into his quarterback on the previous play, catches it for the Pitt 1st down.
This is an outstanding execution of the play action. A great call by Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator. Here's the linebacker right there. Number 43 is Pat Angerer, and he's the one who has the coverage on the fullback in this defense. You see him show up late because he bought into that run fake. That's the hardest thing for a linebacker to do.
And Pitt this young season now 4 for 5 on 4th downs, keeping the drive going. They're going up top again. Stahl has a man, finds him near the 20. Another 1st down for the Panthers. This time it is T.J. Porter who makes the catch.
Bill Stahl does a nice job with this throw and has the patience again. And I'm watching him on film. He's very inconsistent because he's such a young quarterback. He's been at this school for 4 years, but you see, making just his 4th career start. But if he can get hot, he has got all kinds of weapons. These receivers and tight ends for this Pitt football team are outstanding football players. And then you have the guys to hand it off to. If Stahl can play well, they're a very good offense. He
is 4 for 5 through the air so far. McCoy barrels his way down for a couple of tough yards. Pat Angerer making the stop. Last week was Pat's 1st career start. And going at it again.
What a great name for a linebacker.
Perfect name, isn't it? Angerer and Angererest, maybe. But he is a linebacker out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Did not play last year. He had a bout with mono and then got injured. He said he actually almost quit football. It got to be so depressing for him. He said he couldn't even watch football on TV.
Yeah, it just ruined his whole summer in preparation coming into the year.
But a great story. He stuck with it. Now he's starting. More play action. Stahl finds a man on the sideline, but it's incomplete. That was his tight end, Nate Byam, who could not bring it in. And like Iowa, Pitt likes to throw to its tight ends.
Tight ends, especially when you get down inside the 20-yard line, the red zone area, the tight end becomes a much bigger part of the offense. You love the matchups you can get. You get him on a safety or a linebacker. That's usually a tough matchup for the defense.
And now Pitt facing a 3rd and 6. Greg Cross is now in at quarterback. A junior college transfer who's good at this. Keeping it and running. Cross gets the 1st down. Cross gets the touchdown. So Cross, his 1st game action for Pittsburgh, his 1st play, and he gets a score.
Like you said, Pam, that's why Cross comes into the game, because he's so elusive from that quarterback position and running the football. Made a couple of guys miss. on his way to the end zone to really give this Pitt team a boost. And he got a huge block from John Malecki, the right guard, as well.
17-yard run for Cross. The Pitt coaches said they had some wrinkles in the game plan today for Cross, and we just saw one of them. Connor Lee has never missed an extra point in his collegiate career, and he makes it 81 for 81.
Kirk Ferentz trying to get his defense rallied after they give up the first touchdown of the season. And it's Greg Cross dropping back, running the quarterback draw, gets the big block right there from number 74, and Pitt takes the lead.
And right here, we have ourselves a 7-3 ball game. Iowa has given up its first touchdown of the season, and that young man, Greg Cross, on his very first play for Pittsburgh, has a 17-yard touchdown run. He was a terrific quarterback in junior college as he played at Fort Scott Community College in Kansas, and he really was a dual threat for them. They had lost, I think, 24 straight ball games before he got there, and he made them into a pretty good football team, and you could see why on that play.
Tremendous impact.
Luke Briggs with the kickoff, taken by Johnson Koulianis near the goal line, and Durrell is taken down at the 21 after a 21-yard return. Nate Nix made the stop. Play action, Christensen stepping up and dropped the football, but it came right back to him. Boy, you would think we would have a rainy condition out here, but the weather is beautiful the way the ball's been dropping on the field so far today.
And this is just a lack of focus and concentration from Jake Christensen. And these are the kind of things that have really haunted him throughout his career at Iowa. Just, a little thing where you just scratch your head and say, what happened there? He's just running along and drops the football, and that drives Kirk Ferentz crazy, and that's why Ricky Stanzi has had the opportunity to move into that spot.
Well, he's got the helmet on, all strapped up. Again, we do expect to see Stanzi sometime today. 2nd and 7. Christensen picked up 3, even though he dropped the ball. That one is fired complete, short of the first down to one of his tight ends, Brandon Myers, who picks up about 5. The tight ends for Iowa, between them coming into this game, 13 catches and a couple of touchdowns between them.
And this is what Jake Christensen does best, in my mind, the little shorter throws where you got to put a little heat on the ball. He's got a really nice fastball, very accurate with it. I think a little bit difficult to catch, but it's usually on target. That's why the tight ends have so many catches in this offense.
Christensen goes down the sideline. There's some contact. No flag as he was looking for Andy Brodell, who was well covered by Aaron Berry.
Berry has a chance to be a really good cornerback, at least talking to Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator. Great position. You see how he kept in front of Brodell and then got his hands on him, but as long as the ball is not in the air, that's perfectly legal in college football. And then the throw there from Christensen, that's not his kind of throw. He can't really execute the touch over the top type throws.
High snap, Donahue gets it. It was almost blocked. In fact, it was. They got a hand on it, and the ball takes a huge Pittsburgh bounce. Wow.
I think the hand on it created that backspin as Andrew Taglianetti got in there and partially blocked that punt. That's another big play for Pitt.
So big pressure up the middle. Andrew Taglianetti, a true freshman from Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, got a hand on it. And Pitt's in great field position. We are in Pittsburgh, and yes, the Pitt Panthers and the Steelers not only share this beautiful stadium at Heinz Field, but they share a training complex, a practice complex a few miles away. And a lot of Steeler fans, obviously, here in Pittsburgh. But those jerseys look just like the Iowa jersey. So you could be an Iowa fan wearing your Iowa jersey in the streets of Pittsburgh and not be heckled this week.
Exactly, blend right in.
So Pittsburgh, after the block punt, goes to its backup running back, Rod Stevens Howling. And he's showing you some talent as he gets over midfield. Billy Stahl, the redshirt junior from Pittsburgh, he was a guy who won the starting job last year, but had a season-ending thumb injury in game number 1. So as the coaches pointed out to us last week, he is the least experienced quarterback they have. This is only his 4th career start. And that could do it for this first quarter, a quarter in which Iowa has given up its first touchdown of the season. Pittsburgh will take a 7-3 lead into the second quarter. Second quarter about to get underway. That is Greg Cross, whose 17-yard touchdown run and his first touch as a Pitt Panther has resulted in the first touchdown against Kirk Ferentz's defense all season. Iowa getting its 3 points on a Trent Mossbrucker 26-yard field goal that resulted after a short field when LeSean McCoy fumbled the ball away for the Panthers.
You saw Coach Ferentz on that sideline just chomping away on the gum. He said he quit chewing his fingernails 9 years ago, and he substituted it with bubble yum, the sugarless variety. But he's running out of gum.
Yes, he is a man in search of a gum that they no longer produce. Condridge Collins, the fullback, gets the carry this time and is stopped a couple of yards short of the first down. Kirk Ferentz, there you see the chomping. He says it's bubble yum sugarless, and he's down to his last 8 pieces. We would assume it's now 7 pieces after today's game. And there is Bill Stahl, and he threw for over 3,300 yards as a senior, 40 touchdowns, second most pass yards in Pennsylvania high school history as a senior, and came in with very good credentials.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks that come out of the league that he played in high school. A lot of good football players.
3rd and 1 for the Panthers, and stacked up right at the line of scrimmage is Lerod Stevens Howling, short of the first down as we look who's going for it again on 4th down.
A little bit out of the kick and field goal range, so a good decision here to go for it.
And for the second time, they have converted the 4th down, and a flag comes down. That's going to be hit out of bounds on Lerod Stevens Howling. So Pittsburgh continuing to have success on 4th down. Stevens Howling got 13, and they'll get more with our first penalty of the day. We have a Big Ten crew here. Dave Wickboat, our referee.
Play. Personal foul, late hit, number 30 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
Brett Greenwood should know better than making this late hit. But the play was successful because of the speed of Stevens Howling. This is just a foot race to the corner here. Now he's obviously out of bounds, and Greenwood doesn't pull off in time, and that's just not smart football. But you see the result of that play was really the speed of Lerod Stevens Howling.
So a 1st and goal from the 8. As Stevens Howling continues to be in the backfield in favor of LeSean McCoy, and Pittsburgh likes to rotate these 2 running backs. I know, Ray, you really like Stevens Howling, but they like to rotate them not by play but by series.
Yeah, they feel like they get a better rhythm if they're in there for an entire series, although Stevens Howling coming out now because they're going to a wide receiver set where they won't have a running back. It's just a fullback in there.
Yeah, excuse me, as you saw McCoy being the team guy, giving him a pat on the head as he came off the field. Good time for a bye week with Iowa coming to town. 4 receivers in. 2nd and goal from the 6. Stahl floats one up, corner of the end zone. And Derek Turner and Bradley Fletcher locked up there as the ball falls incomplete, and it's 3rd and goal.
And Stahl just throws this one a little too far. I think that's going to be part of the maturation process of him getting on the same page on that fade route. I think you have to throw the fade route to give your guy a chance. And if you're going to throw it too far, nobody has a chance.
They have some good size, too, in the receivers here at Pittsburgh. Turner 6'3", Kinder 6'1", McGee also 6'1", along with T.J. Porter.
And then Jonathan Baldwin, the true freshman, is about 6'6".
They really like him. Stahl keeps it on his own, dives into the end zone and scores. So Pittsburgh has 2 scores, both of them coming from their quarterbacks running.
Yeah, they figured if it worked with Greg Cross, why not try it with Bill Stahl? And the spread formation is what really opens this up. Iowa only had 5 guys left in the box. Pitt had 6 people to block, the 5 linemen and their fullback. It was just a numbers game.
Stahl's first career rushing touchdown. And Connor Lee stays perfect in his career in hitting extra points. So Billy Stahl The junior from right here in Pittsburgh, hanging on to it. And like Greg Cross before him, finding the end zone. Iowa's now given up 2 touchdowns on the season. Radio, that matchup usually so crucial in the SEC West. And here, Billy Stahl has scored his first rushing touchdown of his career. And Pittsburgh leading Iowa 14-3. And again, this Iowa defense coming into this game in 3 games had not given up a touchdown at all. The only team in the Football Bowl subdivision to do that.
And you got to give Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator of Pitt, all the credit in the world. He's calling an outstanding game thus far.
Luke Briggs kicking it off for the Panthers. And Jewel Hampton gets it around his 7-yard line. And the true freshman finds a seam and is finally herded out of bounds around the 31. Sean Green, big hole right up the gut. And the running back who has gotten 100-yard games in all 3 contests so far for Iowa gets 6. Eric Thatcher with the stop. And I wanted to ask you, you go and you make this change at quarterback. Do you think Iowa's panicking a little bit too soon, or how would you characterize it?
I think so, a little bit, because you look at that last drive they had. They passed every time, and they're not a pass-first team. They're a run-first team trying to establish Sean Green. So I think they need to settle down and stick to their game plan, does the Iowa Hawkeye coaching staff.
Still plenty of time left to go in this one. 2nd and 4 for the Hawkeyes. They go to Green, and there's another hole, this time on the left side, and he stumbles forward for the first down. Iowa's offense coming into this game averaging over 5 yards per carry. Last year when Green wasn't there, they were bad in offense, at the bottom of the Big Ten in scoring and total offense. Averaged only 3.5 yards per carry as a team last year.
They need to saddle up that horse right there and ride him. And that'll open up the passing game. That'll bring the Pitt defenders down into the box. And then you'll have some matchups on the perimeter, and you'll have some play action, as you saw a look at Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator for the Hawkeyes.
Stanzi buys time, but not enough of it as he is sacked. Greg Williams with his 2nd sack of the day.
And that's the speed that Greg Williams has. That's what he brings to the table. He's getting the play time because Adam Gunn, here you're going to see McKillop's going to blitz, and also the other linebackers coming from the outside. And this is where that pressure comes. 2 linebackers coming, only 1 blocker to block him, and Williams beats the blocker and then accelerates and tackles Stanzi for a tremendous loss, 10 yards on the play.
Williams, the redshirt freshman from Naples, Florida, has 2 sacks today, his first 2 career sacks. Green tries the right side and has a lot of room. Sean Green is finally taken down inside the 15. Aaron Berry made the touchdown saving tackle. 33 yards on that play.
And Scott McKillop, the linebacker, he played pass first in this situation, given the long yardage, and he actually drops back instead of reading his run keys, and that's what allowed the hole to open so big. You know, watch the linebackers right here. Watch, they're going to drop back into pass mode on the handoff. And then they finally react, and it's too late. They can't get over the top to fill those gaps, and Kyle Callaway had a great block on Austin Ramson to really open that thing up. 1st and
10 now for Iowa. Ricky Stanzi, the quarterback in relief of Jake Christensen, trying to lead them to a touchdown drive. And Green, who just had his 2nd run of over 30 yards this season, doesn't get anything that time as Gus Moustakis makes the stop.
Moustakis had a great spring. In fact, Coach Wanstead told us that he's probably the best that they have in terms of handling the run there up in the middle. And he had a little injury and wasn't playing much early on, but boy, he showed you something there, coming up, taking on Sean Green and not having the pile pushed at all.
Moustakis started last year, but his knee, an injured knee, ended his season after 2 games. 2nd and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Stanzi passes, completes it to Darrell Johnson-Koulianos, who picks up 8 on that play. Darrell's 2nd catch of the day. Eric Thatcher makes the stop.
And Stanzi throws really well on the run. They like to get him on the perimeter. You saw that was just a perfectly thrown dart. And no coverage on the quick out from Koulianos, who came from the other side in motion. That's one of the reasons you use motion to get that coverage to be just behind, trailing a little bit, and then you break away from it, and you have an open receiver, and that's what Stanzi found.
Iowa only 1 for 5 on third downs today, has 3 receivers in on 3rd and 3. From the 6, Green cuts inside and finds the end zone. Iowa has scored. Sean Green with the touchdown.
And Iowa was fortunate that they did not get a penalty on that. It looked like Stanzi was going to call a timeout or change the play as he turns and looks back to the bench and then jumps back underneath the center. And then Sean Green keeping the shoulders square, making the cutback and finding the seam. And there were some arm tackles in there, but they're not going to slow down Sean Green.
Green with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, now up to 89 yards on the ground as Daniel Murray adds the extra point. So Ricky Stanzi inserted as the quarterback, leads a drive that finishes off with Sean Green in the end zone. Iowa has scored its first touchdown of the day. They trail Pittsburgh 14-10. Ricky Stanzi 4 for 4 so far in the game for 17 yards. The first drive he led ended in a punt. This one with a touchdown on a 58-yard drive. Stanzi was 2 for 2 on that drive, 14 yards. Green had a huge 32-yard run on 3rd down that helped set up the touchdown. As Andre Wright takes a knee, Pittsburgh starts from the 20. After an incomplete pass on 1st down, McCoy lost the ball, but it was out of bounds as he was forced out by Spivey. 6 yards for LeSean McCoy, nicknamed Shady.
Watch this last play. Both guards for Pitt are going to pull, and they're going to run right into each other. Bam! Whoop, somebody got the wrong signal there, but LeSean McCoy, it didn't really matter. He just busted outside. But there was confusion in the call, in the huddle. Both guards thought they had to pull responsibility.
Stevens Howland giving McCoy a break on 3rd and 5. And that pass is thrown out of bounds in the vicinity of Derek Turner. But Pittsburgh with the 3 and out here.
And more confusion because Turner wasn't on the same page as Bill Stahl, and so if Stahl throws it, he expected Turner to stick the foot and run a little comeback. Turner kept going. Stahl throws it to open air. That was a very poor series for the Pitt offense, and that's been their problem this year. They come out, they move it down the field, they're looking great, and then they come out and they have 2 guards pulling, slamming into each other. They got a receiver running one way and a quarterback throwing it the other. They just have not been able to maintain consistency.
Andy Brodell, who took a punt back for a touchdown last week against Iowa State, waiting for this brightest punt. It's a knuckleballer that goes out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So Iowa with 2 minutes and 42 seconds and 3 timeouts left in the half. Tony Moiaki, the tight end, breaks a tackle and is pushed out of bounds by Eric Thatcher. But Moiaki back in there, did not play the first couple of games because of an injury. His first catch of the season is a huge one.
Yeah, and Moiaki is right here, and you're going to watch him go behind the line on running this route, and he kind of hides behind everybody. The Pitt linebackers never see him, and as he gets out there, he's got blockers in front of him too, and then he makes the move right there. A really sad tackle attempt by Chappelle. And Moiaki, who has suffered through injuries, is an impact player in this offense when he's healthy.
48 yards on the game, 4 short of his career long. Johnson Kuliana shakes one would-be tackler. Eric Thatcher credited with yet another tackle, but you could really see with Stanzi in control, this Iowa offense is firing.
Hasn't it really settled them down? You get a sense of that just watching with Ricky Stanzi in there. They're not as frenetic as Jake Christensen. That's kind of his style. He's almost like a wild colt running out in the prairie in the fields, just untamed, whereas Stanzi comes in and lends some calm to the situation.
Stanzi is 6 for 6 for 71 yards through the air. Make it 6 for 7 because that was batted down by Jabal Sheard, intended for Sean Green. With 1:29 left to go in the half, Iowa facing a 3rd and 4.
Ball Sheard getting his opportunity because they lost Doug Fulmer to injury in camp, and he has come in and really showed that he's a playmaker. One thing, though, he's got to get used to is playing that 60, 70 snaps a game. Just not quite, doesn't understand the recovery that you have to have. He's awful sore complaining to Coach Wannstedt.
Just a sophomore out of Florida. A little jump pass into the end zone, and it should have been caught. Darrell Johnson-Poulianis had an opportunity for the score. Well, boy, Stanzi really had to improvise on that throw.
Eric Thatcher got the hand in just in time to knock this thing out. This is an all-out blitz. Watch these guys. They're going to be coming in on the blitz. So you got man-to-man coverage up top. Thatcher on DJK, and the throw is not bad at all. But look at the coverage. He's going to make the recovery and then get the hand in there just in time to knock it away.
Daniel Murray in for a 35-yard field goal attempt, and that one won't get it done as he sails it wide. So Iowa with another good drive, but this time they come away with no points. You wouldn't know it from the crowd, but Pittsburgh's going into the locker room with a 14-10 lead over unbeaten Iowa. Greg Cross and Bill Stahl have scored touchdowns for Pittsburgh. Sean Green for Iowa. Time now for the KFC halftime report. Let's go to Wendy Nix in the studio. Oh, it's a beautiful day here in Pittsburgh. Some of the folks enjoying the confluence of the rivers that are right nearby the stadium. But inside, Pittsburgh has a 14-10 lead against unbeaten Iowa. Pam Ward here against Ray Bentley. And Pittsburgh's offense looked great at the beginning. They got a couple of touchdowns on an Iowa defense that had not given up a touchdown all season until today. But then they sort of stalled out.
Stalled, yeah. And I think it starts with Bill Stahl, the quarterback. He really started out very well. Hit 5 of 8 in the first half, but first quarter. After that, just 1 out of 4. And you see some of the throws he was making all over the field on the run. He was just in total control. Here he caps it off with a running touchdown. But the offense stalled out there. Their last 3 drives, they didn't get a lot of production. And I'm very surprised LeSean McCoy with just 6 carries for 18 yards in the first half. On the other side, Iowa, Sean Green really carried the load. And I think things changed for them when Ricky Stanzi came in at quarterback. You could see a little more jump in their step.
Jake Christensen did start the game, but Stanzi came in and led them to their only touchdown drive. Daniel Murray kicks off, and Andre Wright takes it across the hash marks all the way to the 30-yard line. And that is where Pittsburgh will start out. That's a nice 26-yard return for Wright, a redshirt freshman from right here in Pittsburgh. Here are your first half statistics. Rushing yards, Sean Green doing the work for Iowa, and they also lead in time of possession.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Iowa outrushed Pitt in that first half when you look at the talent Pitt has at the running back position.
Rod Stevens-Howling getting more carries than this guy, McCoy, who does get the first carry of the second half, picks up a couple. Amari Spivey from Middletown, Connecticut made the stop. Spivey, though, played junior college last year at Iowa Central Community College after he redshirted in 06 at Iowa. Got his stuff together, much like Sean Green, and now is back playing for the Hawkeyes.
This is an important drive for this Pitt offense. Their last 3 drives didn't amount to much. You got to find a way to get McCoy into some open field.
Oh boy, Stahl took quite a hit right after he released the football. Stevens-Howling out of the backfield made the catch, but Stahl showing some of that Western Pennsylvania toughness. Actually, excuse me, it was Angerer who came up and made the hit on the quarterback.
Yeah,
right.
Pat Angerer comes in and he is untouched. And he really, he hit Stahl pretty good, but he even pulled off on that one. He'd have ran right through him and finished it hard. Might have got a flag, actually. I think it was a wise decision.
I was wondering if you were advocating for doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
The linebacker that you are. Angerer with the perfect name. That's a great picture of him, too, isn't it? He's kind of cheesing for the camera. 3rd and 2. That was a tough play for Stahl, who was right back there throwing it. And that one was deflected by A.J. Eads, another of the Iowa linebackers.
And Iowa has brought the blitz very seldom during the course of this year. They brought it that time. They brought Eads off the end, and he comes flying in and gets into the throwing lane, and that's what makes the difference. Here's Eads right here. He's coming on the blitz a little delayed and gets his hands down on the blocker and then has the wherewithal to get him back up into the throwing lane. Eads is a very talented football player.
McCoy was trying to keep Eads at bay. Dave Brightus in for his 4th punt.
Another 3 and out for that Pitt offense.
Brodell, who broke one for a touchdown last week against Iowa State, only gets a couple of yards back up to the 30-yard line. And how about this? What is going on here? Christensen's coming back into the game, Ray.
Shocking development. And I don't know if they're just trying to give Jake a little confidence, putting him back in here in this first series. But things were going really smoothly with Ricky Stanzi in there. I'm surprised.
Christensen was just 2 for 6 for 15 yards and was sacked before Stanzi came in to relieve him. On the roll, they have him throwing right off the bat. He finds Darrell Johnson-Koulianos, so that should help his confidence, the first down throw, but very surprising. The offense was really moving with Stanzi, and this is back and forth quarterbacks now.
And this is the kind of play they like with Jake Christensen on the roll to this left side because he's a lefty, and he can throw those fastballs, the dart balls. It's the ones that go up in the air that give him the problem.
Christensen still the quarterback, rolls and finds Brodell on the run for another first down into Pitt territory at the 43.
And that's the throws that Jake Christensen can make. But Sean Green is really the guy this offense revolves around right now, and his ability to get plus yards on just about every play. And you look at it, when did he go over that 100-yard mark? 3rd quarter, week 1. 1st quarter against Florida International. Took him to the 4th quarter against Iowa State. And here, midway through the 3rd, he's eclipsed the century mark.
So the first down puts it at the 28. And going down immediately is Hampton. That is stunning, Wendy. And Ohio gave Ohio State quite a game a couple of weeks ago. Green bursting and spinning his way down to the 20. 8 more for Sean.
And that's the first spin move I've seen Sean Green make. Usually it's just lower the shoulder and run you over, but I think he got hit into this. Watch him, he's coming through this, shoulders are square, and he gets chipped on the shoulder, and that's what turned him into the spin.
Green with 115 yards on the ground. Ken O'Keefe, his offensive coordinator, says he's the biggest, most physical running back they've had at Iowa, and that's quite a statement because they've had some good ones. 3rd and 2 for the Hawkeyes. Play action. Christensen going into the end zone. That was a well-covered play. Aaron Berry on Trey Strauss. So on 3rd and 2, you have a guy with 115 yards on the ground, and they tried to play action. Did you like that call?
Yeah, that's not a bad call, going for the touchdown, but Aaron Berry just takes it away. And when we talked to Phil Bennett, the Pitt defensive coordinator, he said he will move Berry around and try to match him up on who he thinks the intended receiver is going to be. That time they guessed right, and Berry came through.
I was going for it on 4th and 2. Maybe that's why you take a shot in the end zone, because you figure you'll do it here.
Take the points on the field goal. I don't like this.
The pitch back to Green. And Green does deliver. McKillop with the stop, but a first down for Iowa going on 4th and 2. It always makes me a little nervous when they pitch back, when you go backwards to try to go forward.
A gutsy call, I'll say that. I would have chosen to kick the field goal. There's a lot of time left to be played, and they try to flip it out, and Austin Ransom slipped, and Berry dove, and McKillop had to come make the play, but good play call. I don't know if it was a good decision to go for it, but what the heck.
And McKillop took a shot. You see him on the sidelines, but you know what that feels like when you get the...
Yeah, that's not fun.
What is it, the face mask goes into your nose, so he's being attended to. Meanwhile, Green breaks free. Aaron Berry McCoy saves a touchdown at the 2. 15 yards, first and goal for Iowa. 15-yard run for Green.
Boy, Elijah Fields had a chance to make this play in the hole, and he kind of ducked. I mean, watch him. He's going to come up right there. You see him hit and drop his head and stop his feet and kind of just end up falling down. And I know Green's a big dude. That's why you got to come up and you got to bring everything you got when you've got a shot at him in the hole, and Elijah Fields did not bring it.
Hampton in at tailback. He is faked to Christensen. Slipped a tackle and got into the end zone. Christensen with the touchdown. Iowa takes the lead.
Boy, Scott McKillop missed a tackle that would have stopped Christensen at the 3-yard line. And missed tackles are the problem now for this Pitt defense, in particular on this drive in the last 2 plays. And that doesn't look like any fun for McKillop. You got wads of gauze sticking out of your nose. I suppose you could excuse him missing a tackle under those conditions, although he won't take the excuse.
True freshman Trent Mossbrucker, who hit a 26-yard field goal earlier today, gets the extra point, and Iowa takes its first lead since they led 3-0. Scott McKillop paid for a hard hit earlier in that drive, and then Christensen pays off with the Iowa touchdown. Jake Christensen has just led an 8-play, 73-yard drive. He scored a 2-yard, or scored on a 2-yard run to give Iowa the 17-14 lead. A drive that included going for it on a 4th and 2, and they made it.
Yeah, all today's touchdown drives, I believe, have had 4th down conversions mixed in.
Daniel Murray with a line drive kick that is fielded by Stevens Howling, one of the running backs. And he brings it all the way back across the 25-yard line. Bill Stahl running this Pittsburgh offense. A redshirt junior from right here in Pittsburgh, and there you see his numbers. Threw the pick last time out. They go to McCoy, and LeSean finds some daylight. Matt Kroll making the stop for Iowa.
Nice job by C.J. Davis, the big offensive guard, pulling around and leading that hole for LeSean McCoy. And the Pitt Panthers need to get a sustained drive. That's been their issue, just out, 3 and out all the way since early in the second quarter.
5 straight 3 and outs. They finally got a first down on their last possession, but it ended in an interception as McCoy runs for the first down. He got 8 yards on the first carry, and that one's good enough for 3 more and a first down.
And I think here's a first down situation where you go to the pass. All right, you're out into the middle of the field area a little bit more. It opens up that play selection that Matt Cavanaugh has on his big sheet sitting upstairs watching. And it's time to dial up something down the field.
High formation, Collins the fullback, McCoy the tailback. And again, McCoy gets it, and this time not much at all as he goes down immediately. McCoy, such a terrific freshman season last year. Only Tony Dorsett had a better freshman season on the ground than LeSean McCoy. Some pretty heady company. He ran for over 1,300 yards as a true freshman. Dorsett, he was Dorsett at the time, 1,686 yards as a freshman, so about 300 more. And there you see what the tandem between he and Stevens Howling have done. Pressure, so a sidearm throw by Stahl, and McCoy goes all the way down to the 40. Boy, Stahl, how did he get rid of that one?
That's a heck of a play by Bill Stahl. He almost looked like, who's the quarterback for the Eagles? Philadelphia Eagles. McNabb, Donovan McNabb, when he underhanded that one on Monday Night Football last week. That's the kind of play Bill Stahl made right there, just sliding it underneath, finding a little seam to get the ball in there. An excellent play by a young quarterback.
28-yard gain, Pitt's longest play of the day. A long throw down towards the end zone, and it's almost caught by T.J. Porter. He was down there with Brent Greenwood. It looked like Porter had a chance.
Oh, he did. He's mad at himself for missing that one because he jumped, timed it perfectly. The ball hit his hands at the zenith of his jump. And it's really just a jump ball thrown from Stahl, expecting his receiver to do that. And that's one you just got to catch. T.J. Porter not coming down with it. That's only the second time Pitt has taken a deep shot down the field all day.
2nd and 10.
They need to do more of that.
Stahl looking downfield, has a man, Kinder. Derek Kinder, stopped by Spivey, who had the interception. Kinder's 2nd catch of the day. That one good for 8 yards.
And I like how Matt Cavanaugh has now opened up this offense a little bit. And in part, it's been due to field position. They haven't had good field position where you take some chances with the throw. There's Matt Cavanaugh, the mad scientist up there, dialing things up. I think he does a real nice job.
Had some experience in the NFL. And the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Pittsburgh starting to move it through the air on this drive. 4th quarter coming up. You're looking at the Pittsburgh campus, the Cathedral of Learning, 42 stories high. That building was completed back in 1937. We are just a few miles away at Heinz Field, and this crowd, which was surly because the Pittsburgh offense was too conservative for them back in the first half, they're getting into it now. As Pitt has a 3rd and 2. McCoy hit right at the line of scrimmage. And it all depends on the mark. King and Kroll make the stop. Pittsburgh is across midfield for the first time since early in the 2nd quarter.
And I think they're going to mark him about a half a yard short. Brings up another 4th down decision for Dave Wannstedt. Connor Lee, the kicker, has a career long of 48. So I think you roll the dice again and go for it. The last 2 times they went for it on 4th down, they finished off those drives with touchdowns. So let her go again.
3 tight ends in for Pitt. Stahl keeps it with some help from Condridge Collins, the big fullback right behind him. 1st down, Panthers.
The old Collins push, which you never see it called, but it's against the rules to evade a runner giving him that push like that, but nobody ever calls it, and Condridge Collins gets right in behind Stahl and pushes a pile. They picked up 3 on that one.
And Pitt is now 3 for 3 on 4th downs today. 1st and 10 from the 27. Pitt trailing Iowa 17-14. The only score in this half coming from Jake Christensen on a 2-yard run. McCoy breaks free, heads towards the end zone, and LeSean McCoy scores.
Takes it to the house. Had a great block from C.J. Davis. The big left guard pulled around and led the way. He pinned the linebacker, Angerer, outside the hole. McCoy saw the cut, and then it was just pure speed to the house.
27 yards on that run. McCoy's 19th career rushing touchdown. And this was a guy who's been bottled up for most of the game. And it's difficult to keep McCoy bottled up for long. Connor Lee with another extra point. Kirk Ferentz's team now trailing 21-17.
And the key apparently for Pitt is 4th down conversions. Let's take a look at this play. You can see C.J. Davis. Here's the guard right here. He is going to carry it around and block Pat Anger right there. Bam, pins Anger in the hole. McCoy gets up in it, sees the cut to the outside. He's just too quick laterally to get it out there.
Luke Briggs is in to kick it off. for the Panthers. Hampton and Koulianos wait for Iowa. And there's Johnson Koulianos inside the 10. Steps out of bounds around the 25-yard line. McCoy capping off an 80-yard drive with a 27-yard touchdown run. Christensen still in at quarterback and has it batted right down at the line of scrimmage. Pittsburgh crowd getting into it. And Green trying to silence them as he picked up 8. Mustakas making the stop for the Panthers.
I think you're going to see a lot more of Sean Green on this drive if it is able to continue. That's where they've had their success. They get Green the ball and then counter with some play action looks off of that.
Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator, like Norm Parker, both coordinators on the field for Iowa. Here's a 3rd and 3. Christensen airs it out towards the sideline, and he's got his man. Darrell Johnson Koulianos for a huge gain.
And Jake Christensen's making me eat my words there. That was a perfect pass. That wasn't a bullet, a fastball. He lobs it up. There they are at the top of your screen, man on man. Watch Chappelle turn his head right here, and when he turned his head, that's when he lost his step. And you got to be able to maintain your speed when you turn your head, and he kind of slowed down as he turned it, and that's where DJK got the separation.
DJK, as they call him at Iowa, with a 40-yard catch, his 5th reception of the day. And Iowa converts on that 3rd and 2, and a little misdirection. Trey Strauss is taken down by Aaron Berry, who made the stop for Pittsburgh.
That was a great open field tackle by Aaron Berry. I mean, he came up there, came to balance, broke down, had the feet chopping, and then went low and wrapped up and made the play. That's how you do it out in the open field. Because if he misses that thing's still running.
Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, says that Berry could be exceptional. Those were his words. A lot of promise. The junior from Harrisburg. He's not so bad now. Moriaki in at tight end. Green gets the carry and is taken down by Scott McKillop for Pitt.
McKillop does a great job of staying on the backside, waiting for that cutback route. And that cutback run, excuse me, and it comes up and makes the tackle. Now 3rd and 5. Look for Iowa. Here he is. Watch him stay back on the backside of this thing, and then wend his way through the traffic to make the tackle. But look for the tight end on this. This is where Iowa loves to throw to their tight end.
Brandon Myers is in there, number 83. And that one is one-hopped in the direction of Trey Strauss, bringing up now a 4th and 5.
Bring Mossbrucker out and kick a field goal at this point.
Well, they're going to do just that.
And I say Mossbrucker, you know, he alternates kicks with Daniel Murray, but Daniel Murray missed one here today. And that, I think you're going to see a lot more of Mossbrucker in that regard.
Mossbrucker hit from 26. Murray missed from 35. This one is 39 yards away for the true freshman. Right down the middle. And that is a new career high for the true freshman, who kicked a 35-yarder against Maine in the first week of the season. And Iowa only trails now by 1. We have ourselves quite a game in Pittsburgh. Sean Green with a career-high 141 yards for Iowa, who just had a 39-yard field goal kicked by Trent Mossbrucker to get to within 1. Stevens Howling with the kickoff. Finds some room down the left sideline and is taken out at the 36-yard line. McCoy goes right up the gut, runs into some Hawkeyes, including Christian Ballard. Now, this Pittsburgh offense has managed to do something that Maine, Florida International, Iowa State could not do. That's score touchdowns against Iowa, but they have 3 good drives and 8 kind of crummy ones.
Yeah, and that's been the story thus far this year for this Pitt Panther offense. they're so inconsistent. But if they can get that good stuff a little bit more often, they're going to be an excellent football team in the Big East.
Looking for a time-consuming drive, up 1, 2nd and 7. And a 3rd and about 4 upcoming after McCoy's carry. Mitch King makes the stop for Iowa.
Jeremiah Hunter also stepped in there, took on a block, shedded it, and then made that tackle along with Mitch King. And 3rd down and 4, I think you have to spread this thing out and rely on the arm of Bill Stahl.
He's got 3 receivers to his right. And it's batted down by Christian Ballard.
Batted down.
4th down, and Pittsburgh has to punt. That is the 4th batted pass by the Iowa defense today.
I don't like the way they did it. Here's Ballard right here, but I don't like this play call. It's supposed to be a receiver screen to the outside, and you see that nobody's, they're not going to make it anywhere anyway. Kinder was covered immediately by a linebacker. I think you got to throw the ball down the field there.
Kinder also was covered by one of the offensive linemen. One of the big guys for Pittsburgh was in that vicinity. Brodell at the 22, looking for a good return of Dave Brightus's punt, but that's a heck of a punt. Boy, did Brightus hair that one out, and it just skipped into the end zone. Brightus with a 60-yard punt, but only the 40-yard net. Iowa just 1 point down, 4 minutes and 42 seconds left to go as they try to take the lead. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. The Panthers need a defensive stand here, nursing a 1-point lead. Still plenty of time left to go. Iowa has the ball on the 20. And the Pitt fans are exhorting on their defense. Sean Green in the backfield. He is faked to Christensen, to his tight end Brandon Myers, who goes out of bounds. Actually, they say they keep the clock going. Greg Williams among the defenders on the play.
That's the old security blanket to this this Iowa offense. They love to go to the tight ends when things are tough and things are tight. They've hit 5 out of 6 now to the tight ends in this ball game.
That one good for 5 yards. The second quarter really big for the Hawkeyes. Christensen, oh boy, he was looking. He's over the head of Myers. He had Brodell down there, but Aaron Berry was the closest guy to it.
And Scott McKillop drew the coverage on Brandon Myers and did a nice job. Had Christensen thrown the ball into Myers, I believe McKillop would have intercepted it because he just took care of his business. Here he is right up here. He's covering the tight end who is spread out a little bit farther to your right. You see him break right there, right underneath, and took that throwing lane away.
3rd and 5. Iowa just 3 for 14 on 3rd downs today, and this is a huge one. They convert. Christensen finds Myers, the tight end that he just overthrew. Brandon's 4th catch of the day. 1st down, Hawkeyes.
And there was some confusion in the Pittsburgh defense. They're running around. Now here's Myers right down here, and you're going to see the linebacker right here is going to have coverage with him, also with the safety up here. They're both going to be on the tight end, but they both lose track of them, expecting the out cut. They got the in cut, so Thatcher and Ransom couldn't cover Myers together.
1st down from the 41. Christensen with time gets it batted right back towards him by Mick Williams.
4th batted pass today by the Pitt front 7. And Mick Williams is a huge defender in this defense. He's the man in the middle right here. He's going to get some good pressure, and then he's going to work to get his hand up and get in that throwing lane. If you can't get to the quarterback, then get your eyes on him and shoot your hands up and try to knock the thing down. And Mick Williams made a huge play there.
Bringing up 2nd and 10 for Iowa. Time again for Christensen, and he goes over the middle where he had a couple of receivers, Moeaki and Strauss. Pitt had that well defended.
In a bad execution on the play. There's two receivers right there in the same area, Strauss and Moeaki. You don't expect to see guys in the same area going for the same ball, so somebody blew the route. And Iowa has hit just one deep pass. That was the long throw to Johnson Koulianis that helped them out of a tough situation.
Caught a 40-yard ball earlier in this game. 3rd and 10. Christensen has nowhere to go but down. Great coverage by Pitt, and then Mick Williams came in and finished off Christensen.
Can't tell you what a great hustle play this is from Mick Williams, because he got double teamed and he kept going. Now they dropped 8. There's only 3 guys rushing, and Mick Williams still gets the sack. That's an amazing football play, and it's only due to his tenacity.
They say he has a way of flying to the football, his 2nd sack of the season. And that punt rolls in Pitt's favor to the 40. Ryan Donahue with the backspin on it. So Pittsburgh with the 1-point lead and just 2:44 left to go in the game. Iowa has its full complement of 3 timeouts as these two teams are playing for the first time since 1952. And we've had 3 lead changes. Pittsburgh taking the 21-17 lead on LeSean McCoy's touchdown run. Iowa's added a field goal to make it close. 2 tight ends for Pittsburgh, who would love to run the clock out with that guy, LeSean McCoy. Let's go back.
2 tight ends lends itself to play action. Now they bumped her into a fullback set.
Pitch to McCoy, and he is stopped by Spivey. So a 3rd down coming up for Pitt. What kind of play do we think Matt Cavanaugh will dial up here as Iowa takes another timeout?
Yeah, Iowa needs to take that timeout. I was waiting for him to do so. Conserve as much time as possible right now. You're looking at 3rd and 7. And I tell you, I hope they don't throw that receiver quick screen again. Throw it down the field.
Yeah.
Give yourself a chance.
They had that huge win against West Virginia last year. High expectations this season. Stahl goes down. They're going to have to punt. They tried the play action. Mitch King was there with some pressure on Stahl, who stumbled to the ground. 2:28 left to go in the 4th.
Well, I just don't like the play action. It's 3rd and 7. Everybody knows that you're not going to run the football. So why even waste your time faking that thing? I mean, the best thing that happened to them, though, is the clock continued to run. They didn't throw an incomplete, forcing Iowa to use that final timeout.
10 Hawkeyes on the line of scrimmage, but they don't do the full-out block attempt. Brodell lets it go, and it goes out inside the 1. The perfect punt for Brightus.
Dave Wannstedt is the special teams coach of this Pittsburgh Panther football team, and he is going to be real pleased with his punter in this situation. He decided to take over the reins when they had some shake-up in the coaching staff, some people moving around, so he figured, I'll take it. He talked to a couple of other coaches who do the same thing. Frank Beamer is one guy he talked to kind of get an idea on the scheduling, and it has paid off for Dave Wannstedt. A great special teams play there.
It is impossible to be more pleased with the punt. 57-yard punt, and it goes out inside the 1. Iowa has no timeouts. Christensen completes it to Green, who is stopped by Austin Ransom. Only picked up 3 yards, but he did get out of bounds to stop the clock.
And this will be a true test of Jake Christensen right here. If he wants to take that quarterback controversy or competition by the horns, lead your team down here and get in field goal range and pull out a victory, and you will be starting for the rest of the year.
Started every game last year, started the first game of the season this year against Maine, gave way to Stanzi for 2 straight games. Jake started today. Going to have to take off with it. Heading towards the sidelines to pick up the first down. With 1:55 left to go, he's out of bounds at the 15.
And having Jake Christensen in gives you this kind of play. He is a very good scrambler, an excellent runner with the football. And when things break down, he can make something happen. Much more so than Ricky Stanzi. Not to slight Stanzi's ability to scramble, but Christensen's just a better runner.
Christensen has 2 fourth-quarter comebacks in his career. Pass is complete, but only a short gain to Darrell Johnson-Koulianos as the clock keeps ticking. And remember, they can't stop it. Out of timeouts is Iowa. Stanzi looking on.
That's why I expect him to throw balls near the sideline so that they can step out of bounds and stop that clock as it continues to roll down.
Christensen has the time run out on him as Greg Romeus sacks him. 6 sacks today for this Pittsburgh defense.
Romeus with a speed rush around the corner, using his hands well. He came up, and Christensen got to get rid of that thing.
He stopped at the 20. The ball is loose, and Pittsburgh comes up with it. Tony Tucker making the big play to knock the ball loose, and the Panthers have it.
This one's going to be reviewed because I think his knee might have been down when the ball came out. It's worth taking another look at. But how about the hustle and the intensity of that Pittsburgh pass rush? Knee down, ball's coming out. I think that's a fumble. Boy, it was close, though.
Well, Dave Wannstedt's got that smile on his face. The old victory formation, the favorite one in college football. Dave Wannstedt said that he would go back to the NFL tomorrow if he wasn't a head coach at Pitt. He believes in his alma mater. He said, I believe in this school, this city, and these kids. He's committed to it, and this is a really good win for him.
Oh, he's going to be on cloud 9. He can't wipe the smile off his face right now. What a great win for this Pittsburgh Panther football team. Putting things together. He said they were hitting at about 70%. I think they were up over 80 today.
And he told us that he thought the expectations were too high. They won 5 games last year, but they beat West Virginia. Everybody had them in the preseason top 25. Some people were talking about a BCS bowl bid. And he was thinking, well, let's hold back a little bit. We've got some other work to do, and they got some work done today.
So they're going to start talking about being ranked in BCS bowls again after this big victory by the Pitt Panthers.
So Sean Green, 147 yards on the ground. That is a new career high for Iowa, but Pittsburgh gets it done as they beat the Hawkeyes by the final score of 21-20. Coming up next on ESPN2, it's NASCAR Countdown, followed by the NASCAR Nationwide Series from Dover. Pitt wins it. LeSean McCoy with a game-winning 27-yard touchdown run for Ray Bentley and our entire ESPN2 crew. I'm Pam Ward saying so long for Pittsburgh. Let's go to Dover.